You have to start though.
Why?
I'm going with you because I don't know exactly what you want to talk about.
Okay, so I'll start again. Hi everyone.
And don't start about forward, up, inward movement because I go nuts.
I mean, up, forward, inward.
Yeah, okay.
Hi everyone, Andy from Snow Camps Europe here with Andy from Snow Camps Europe with another podcast, and I am joined by the one and only
Wouter from Snow Sports Kaprun.
Bit of a role reversal today because I've come fresh from the slopes.
Yes.
And you've come from
Fresh
home.
from
but I still look way more cleaner and tidier than you.
Shut up.
People have commented about the Neanderthal look.
That's me.
Yeah.
Good.
So anyway, let's move.
Really? Who was that?
Yeah, in the comments.
Oh.
We need to do. We need
lawsuits.
We need to do a podcast.
Like levels up.
We need to do a podcast about all the comments that we've received over the past 17 or 18 podcasts. So today, folks, we are talking about why you maybe struggle at certain times of the day when on the mountain with your skiing. And it's based around
of the day.
Well, it could be.
We're talking about different types of techniques.
Yeah, we are. I'm just setting this up.
Okay.
I'm setting this up. Okay. So why you may struggle at different times of the day, depending on where you are on the mountain, how steep it is, how bumpy it is, how soft it is, how narrow it is, how wide it is. And most of this is typically down to not changing your technique. So it's something that I like to refer to as situational skiing, skiing to the situation. And then another part of it is when we learn to ski, you may have been taught a certain way to ski, but that's not necessarily appropriate for different types of terrain or snow types.
Or maybe you're an instructor and you've also learned a different type of ski on an instructor course, which is also
potentially, yes,
the best.
Because when you're trained on that course, they're training you to pass X number of disciplines for an exam, and therefore when you finish that exam, you still think that that's the way you're supposed to ski anywhere and everywhere. And as we just said, this is where people start to struggle. So, for instance, we've spoken about it before that if you try to ski the slush in the afternoon, the way you were skiing the refrozen snow in the morning, it's not going to work because you have to adapt your technique. Yeah. And one thing that we've said in the slush that's going to help is using a lot more pressure to move the snow, driving the legs.
Yeah, momentum, whatever.
Yeah. And if you've been taught to ski with vertical movement, that's not going to aid you in the slush. Where if they'd learned to ski from you with more extension and retraction, they'll probably find the slush easier to ski. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other examples have you got?
Extraction. What did you say now?
Extension and retraction.
Oh, extension. Yeah, so lateral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could do anything really, but yeah.
Because again, we looked at a video on one of the other podcasts of someone showing us how to ski bumps, and he wanted to make a huge vertical movement, which when you hit that bump, you're just going to pogo stick up in the air.
Right.
Where again, if you've been taught to ski on piste like that, and then in the afternoon it becomes bumpy, the reason you struggle is because you're still trying to ski like that. Mm. And again, if you're going to ski bumps, how are you going to ski the bumps? Mm. Differently than that. Mm. So being taught how to ski any given situation, in my opinion, should be the priority of a ski teacher than this is how we do this turn, this is how we do this turn, this is how we do this turn, all on a perfect piste. Because you can do that on a perfect piste, but when we get a little bit lower down and it's this or it's that, it's not going to work as well. You'll get down, but it won't be as comfortable.
Well, you have to understand a little bit, first of all, what is the right way of skiing. And there's nowadays so many opinions, of course, so many different misinformation of different things. What you're saying, for example, a good example is the ski instructor exams, and I'm part of it. I'm also guilty of it because you want to see, but that's one part of it, and if you doing an instructor course is one part of it, but yeah, if we want to talk about skiing, it's a completely really different technique really. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to say is yeah, there needs to be a little bit of a foundation of skiing because most of the turns are going about the same. They are, if you look at every child in the world, doesn't matter from where, unless they've been instructified, yeah, they're all doing the same. They all extend the leg and the ski turns and tuck, boom, yeah. The pistes are nice, groomed nowadays. We have more modern skis. We don't need all of this. But I agree. You need to you know, adapt, need to be able to adapt and understand a little bit, what to do with the skiing. And then there
And
is no right or wrong. Well, there is a little bit, but there isn't. What you
well,
said, some things you
there's a
need to do
better way.
this.
There's a better
Yeah,
way or a
if
worse
if
way,
it's wind
depending on what
pressed,
it
yeah,
is.
it's probably quite nice with a vertical up and down movement if it's wind pressed. You can't just do a lateral extension or a down on weighting, which doesn't exist, but they like to talk about it here, etc. It is there is no it's what you're 100% correct what you're saying. It depends a little bit on the um, the situation and also the 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 piece, how it is,
Mm.
the circumstance of the piece, or
I
you
think
know.
it's also that when people go skiing in a resort, not so much like the glacier here, but let's say over in Zell, where they're skiing down a run that goes onto another run. And they've skied the first run, they felt comfortable, they felt confident, they've been able to control their speed, and they've done nice round turns. And then as they come through the trees, let's say, onto that next run is maybe narrower, maybe steeper. The snow type has
Yeah,
changed, might have more machine snow on it, let's say, so it feels a little bit more icy or firmer. Now, most tourists will now continue onto that run trying to ski how they've just have skied, but will gradually now start to feel more and more discomfort, maybe a little bit of fear because they're speeding up, etc., etc. And it's knowing to kind of stop and go, right, hang on, let me look at this. What have I now got? It's gone narrower. The snow type is different. It's slightly steeper. I'm going to now change the way I ski this run. Now, an experienced skier like you or me, we can ski off that one type of terrain onto the other and change. Yeah, like going from the piece to the on piece to the piece to the on piece to the piece to the on piece. Because we know if I go into that off piece, the snow is
maybe
going to
off
be
piste, yeah.
different. It's going to feel different, and I have to make a change. And I learned this when we were doing Landis One. I wasn't making a change in the off piece, therefore I couldn't turn my bleeding skis. Yeah, I didn't make a positive change. I tried to just do what I was doing, and it wasn't working. And it took me quite a bit of time to figure it out. And that's kind of now I'm like, right, that's because the snow was different, the temperature of that snow was different, it had been tracked, it had frozen overnight. You can't just fucking blah 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 down it. You've got to fucking give it. Oh, that's war. I'll beep that out. I'll,
Thankfully,
I'll
finally.
put a chicken noise over it.
Oh, I would the whole time I want to
You're not allowed to
swear.
swear on a
Yeah, no, but
podcast.
I would love to.
So going back to it. So where we can now do that relatively seamlessly, the average tourist can't. And that's why I say you want to stop, you want to see what you've got, and then apply what you've hopefully been taught by a teacher who's taught about different snow types, different turn shapes, different ways of turning, not just up forward or down and waiting, as you
Sorry,
call it.
up forward.
Up forward, inward. Yeah, it's very popular. Um, and I think there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of value in teaching people how to ski what's in front of them, not teach them how to ski. Yeah,
I agree.
makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the experience of the instructor as well. And as I said, everyone is also different. Like we speak too little about women and the center of mass. There's too little information. Why are we putting, you know, why does everyone, everyone is different. You are a bit like me. We're smaller, a bit stocky.
Yeah,
Well, we're not 2 meter 20. If you're 2 meter 20 or 2 meters, the whole it's a whole different ballgame.
yeah, game changers.
Yeah, correct. So you need some different, and no one is taught. Oh no, we only need to do this type of technique because this is how I've been taught and learned. No discussion for anything else. this is how it is. No, it's not like that. You can use different things. It's still a sport, with all kinds of sport. Yeah, this is what I meant before. There needs to be a foundation of actually how a ski should be. This is the foundation. But still, I can do like, yeah, if it's like wind pressed, then why not go up and down?
Hmm.
Okay, instead of what you said, yeah, what I do a lot with retraction and
Yeah.
extension and lateral extension, blah blah blah, all this early edging. Yeah, well, it depends on how and what. In the bumps, yeah, we need to retract much more. We need to push the ski tips down. Okay, we can't go up. Yeah, everyone is different, and a person who's 2 meter has a different center of mass than us. A woman has a different. No one speaks about it.
Hmm.
No one has that in mind. It's what you're saying. Oh, suddenly, it was nice and warm and slushy, and suddenly it's not going. It's getting icy, and we're going off piste. You need a completely different. Well, not completely, but you need a little bit. You need to adapt your technique,
Yeah.
and this is what I don't like nowadays is there's no room for discussion. Like
Hmm.
we said this is why also a little bit with there's no room for discussion. You should be able to discuss and say, oh, hang on a minute. Well, this is this terrain. This is how I do it. Maybe try it out and see what happens. You know,
I got a
and
couple of
that's the
things.
experience, and that's you
Well,
know.
as you know, I'm doing that course at the end of the winter for 3 days,
Mhm.
and I'm really interested because there are going to be people from Estonia, from Latvia, there's some British people. It's going to be a mix of ski teachers
Yeah,
who are all
but
going to have different ways of doing it,
yeah,
and
but
that's one of the reasons I want to go
but
is to go and see
mm,
and listen to these ski teachers on this course. And this is a course, it's like a trainer's course. Um, but I want to go and learn off all of these different people because they all do it differently. And as you said, I've been in the Austrian system for the last 13 years. And yes, I will favour some of the Austrian system, but I'm also not blinkered that I don't listen to other people,
correct.
and learn from other people. And there's
This is
stuff that I've learned off
this is the thing
all
because
sorts.
yeah, because there's great things from the PSI, there's great things from the Canadians, there's great things from Argentina, who I think is Japanese, the NZ, you know. It is there is so even the not sorry not even I mean the basic
Hmm.
there's some good things about everything because for example the Austrian system, yeah, if you're a great skier, it's fantastic,
Yeah.
but the teaching side of it is a little bit yeah. Yeah, the whole methodical progression is good, but are you gonna really use that? All of it? No. In real life, no.
Hmm.
So don't stick to that. And the more you know, and it's exactly what you said. The more you know, the more you expand, and the more you know from people. Ah, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. This is also I'm like, oh no, oh I've learned this. I've skied with this person. You've skied,
Yeah.
and it is very
It's
very
like
good.
with the camp the other week where Pele did a day with the group, then I did 2 days with the group, and then Pele went back. On the
Mm,
first morning, I said, "Listen, I'm probably going to tell you things entirely differently to how Pele tells them,
yeah,
but the outcome's going to be the same." You
yeah,
know, and
totally.
that was
No,
one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was going back to the bumps. You were saying about bumps, is and this was said to me on one of the camps recently. It's like I'd really like to be able to ski bumps, but I can't yet do short turns well enough. And I was like, well, okay, if you want to ski the bumps, as in ski the bumps, yes, you need to be able to do a short turn.
mm,
But there's nothing to stop you learning to ski down a piece that has become bumpy in a more comfortable way at your level now before you perfect short turns. And again, that's kind of I think people are like, oh, we
well,
can't take them in the bumps, but there's
well,
taking people
you
in the bumps and there's skiing
yeah,
a
yeah,
piece that has
yeah.
become bumpy.
You're 100% correct. But you can take people in the bumps. It depends on the bumps.
Yeah.
Here you don't find any bumps anymore. Unfortunately, I think we should do a podcast about bumps only as well because I spoke to the Kitchener and we are going to do something on the bumps probably next year. But if you do the bumps and if you build them up really nice and round
Hmm.
and this really the same distance, the same thing, you can, you
Oh,
can, but you barely find them here. There's no space to build them up. But you're 100% right. It is what you're saying, and
look at Japan, and I think one of the places where Johnny was, they've got well, like where we've got the rail and box park, and then we've got the terrain park, not the terrain park, the like with all the kickers. They have
fun part.
areas that are mogul areas, so the ground is shaped so when the snow falls on it, the moguls are there. So it's not just like we make a rut line or
Yeah,
we
but
produce
that's
bumps.
Japan. There's loads of
Yeah.
Japans, and there's also the national competition. It's a rhythm change and it's bumps, and it is a completely different ball game with the bumps. And I think we should have that here again because people are really interested. But then there's anyways coming like the whole argumentation from the it's old fashioned. No one's people are really interested in bumps, and if you put a bump line there, which is really nice and easy to do, people go into it. I mean, you'll also get some more. People actually want to have lessons or get.
Yeah.
But I agree. You don't have to like first ski the bumps like full on.
No.
Bump. Yeah, of course your shortens need the better your shortens the better. But you can also go into bumps where your shortens are not so good, and if you to get like a little bit your
Well, just by taking people over bumps on the piste and talking to them about pivoting on the top and sliding down to brake, and they can still it can make them be more comfortable when the piste is bumpy than I can't ski bumps and they're scary,
correct.
because anyone can ski over them and around them, and
Right.
you don't have to blast down them.
No.
You just want to get down.
Yeah,
And
and with a right technique.
because the last pitch down to the Alpen Centre, when it gets bumpy, like it will have been this afternoon, it will be as bumpy as hell. And it was yesterday, because the lady I was working with this morning, she said, I came down there the first time, it was fine. The second time it was more difficult. The third time there were just bumps everywhere. It's like, okay, but if we'd gone down there and we'd skied down it in a certain way, you wouldn't now be standing here going it was horrific, because you would have come down. She's tried to get down the best she can, but without any kind of, if I go up the bump, if I turn on the top of the bump, that's really easy. If I slide down the back of the bump, I keep my control, and then I don't have to go on the next one. I can go on the one after that, and I think people just think moguls, boom, you know.
Yeah, that is like well, if we stick with the Moguls. I know I don't want to bore too much, but I was speaking to a girl I know, and she's done Moguls indoor in the UK.
Okay, yeah,
Perfectly shaped, really nice. She can do them.
yeah,
And then she wanted to do her level 3 here.
yeah,
She can't do them so well
yeah,
because they're in rhythmical. They want to see it too quick, too fast. Doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
Well, it does make, but it's a different type.
yeah. Different horses for courses,
Correct.
isn't
But
it?
this is what I mean. So you need some different, you need to adjust your technique a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think nowadays it's sad. It's like there is not only one way, and we need to why you doing this course just to exchange a little bit different ideas and listen to other people and listen to different techniques so you can take that
Yeah,
forever your personal skiing,
yeah.
and you
Well,
can
and so I can
decide then,
pass that on to other people
this
if it's
works for
useful.
me the best.
Yeah,
It's not like everyone should ski like this, like a bunch of robots,
yeah,
which is like sometimes it's too robotic. Like
yeah.
the Austrians like to do. I've done actually a little video that's coming up on my account in a couple of days, but
Ooh.
about angulation. How
Oh,
do you? The thing is, they never speak about angulation. How to do? No, you just do ski like tuck, yeah, with the body. It's how to interpret this and what is the right information and
and
what you can do with it.
and I think that is part of the problem with what you've just said about this. Is we know that you ski from the feet up, so why are you being told to do this? Because that's skiing from the shoulders down.
Well, they
But
want to.
they want to see that position,
I know why.
and
It's a misunderstanding and a misconception of what actually
it's your
needs to
favourite
happen.
word, isn't it? Misunderstanding,
Misunderstanding.
false information. They're all your favourite sayings, aren't they?
Stop it. No, but it is a little bit in the ski because you need to understand why we're doing it and when to do it, and and it's yeah.
Well, the thing is, depending on the steepness of the slope, it's generated
No, I
naturally
know
anyway,
because
isn't it?
you wanna well here in Austria they want to exaggerate the position and
Exactly.
they
So
want to
even when
do,
you're on a flat slope,
but
they
it
want to see
should
it.
it should be coming a little bit more from the legs, and it is not so difficult. It's just like okay, we've done it like this, so we always have to
But
do it
it's
like this.
created, isn't it? It's created where they want you to force it. But if you ski if you ski and then depending on the pitch of the slope, you'll get it. It'll be there. It'll be evident. To what extent it's evident is to the extent it's needed for that pitch.
Well, it's not
and the
always there.
speed
It's
and the
with
shape of
people.
the turn.
It's basically, yeah, you need to balance a little bit on the outside
Mm.
ski. They want to do this, and yeah. I think nowadays we've got much easier ways. You know, it's not. Trust me, angulation is important, but it's how to do it. And I think we can do much easier ways how to get
Created.
to create it and how it be a bit natural. They're tourists, you know. You don't have to ski like that as a tourist, you
Hmm.
know. And I think we're making it a little bit too complicated. And there's much more easy and yeah, nicer, natural ways to do this. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Cool. So we've kind of gone all over the place with this one, folks. We
Yes.
we started at the beginning talking about that situational skiing, and we've kind of it's all been relevant to that. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it for now, eh?
Yeah, just no. Well, the conclusion is a little bit, don't set your minds on one certain technique,
Yeah.
and a train if you have a coach or a trainer or an instructor, that one, should also a little bit like identify like different terrains and turn shape and your whole your body constitution and of course the conditions of the slope.
Yeah. Cool. Ski to the situation.
Yeah,
Andy, Snow Kept You Up saying bye for now.
and Wouter as well from Snow Sports Kaprun. See ya.
Ciao.